Surely the Lord is in this place, and I knew it not. Christina writes, "In the mid-1970s, my husband lost a key. It wasn't really an issue, as he had another one. He just casually mentioned it, so there was no frantic searching for it. About a week later, I accidentally found it in a garden bed beside the front steps. The whole experience was underwhelming, to say the least, and I completely forgot about it until 2004. I was working for a musical theatre company. A considerable and valuable collection of costumes, props, power tools, and set construction materials was stored in a large warehouse. I had been given my own 2 keys to the building. One day, I had a really strong urge to check that those keys were still on my keyring. I was shocked and horrified to discover that only those 2 had disappeared. I was so disappointed with myself, as it takes a long time to build up trust, and I couldn't expect to be given replacements after being so careless. I didn't think I'd be fired, but it was going to be a real inconvenience to have to ask someone else to come to let me in whenever I needed to get something. The number of the warehouse was engraved on the keys, and if I had lost them in that area, anyone finding them would know exactly which doors they would open. I was distraught, but I knew that the responsible thing to do was to notify the president, in case they wanted to change the locks. The president was very understanding and didn't seem to be worried at all. Nevertheless, I felt so bad. I desperately wanted to find those keys. Finally, I remembered God. I knew that He had seen where they fell. Didn't He just impress me to check my keyring? I knelt down, and as soon as my nose touched the floor, I saw my 1970s self bending over the garden bed and picking up my husband's key. I saw my 1970s clothes, hair, and green painted fingernails, things that I had long put behind me. God remembered every detail. And now I felt He was telling me where the lost keys were. I had my doubts that they would be so close to home. I had covered a lot of ground during the past week. They could be anywhere. I almost didn't go out to look, but I did go out. I walked slowly, and I'm ashamed to say I felt a little foolish. I looked at the flower bed. I saw a large fat snail, and there, nestled beside him, lay the lost keys. Jacob's Ladder wasn't a Bible story that stuck in my memory from childhood. It wasn't as exciting as Joseph and his brothers, or David and Goliath, but as I stumbled up the steps, clutching the keys so tightly in my hand that, I noticed later, they had left an impression on my skin, the words that flowed out of my heart were, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I knew it not." Genesis 28:16. I told them at the theatre what had happened. This was the first time I witnessed to them. Later on, one of the top men lost his keys, and he never found them. They said he must not have been as close to the Lord as I was. In Psalm 145 verse 18 is written from the Message. God's there, listening for all who pray. For all who pray and mean it. God's there, listening for all who pray. For all who pray and mean it. Psalm 145 verse 18, the Message. Surely the Lord is in this place, and I knew it not.